Seismic crisis. A state of emergency has been declared in Santorini, Greece, which is not going to expire until March 3rd, and in the last few days we detected actual evidence of magma movement, but it is not what you might think. During the last week, nearly 8,000 earthquakes have struck narrow regions spanning between the populated islands of Santorini and Amorgos in Greece, equating to a tremor about once every 76 seconds. As a result, more than 70% of Santorini's residents have left the island. Some minor damage and landslides have been reported, and schools were closed across at least 14 regional islands. Yet, during the last 48 hours, there was a pretty major development. While the intense earthquake swarm which has been ongoing since January 24 truly is only tectonic in origin, a change was seemingly just detected at the Santorini volcano, although I am still waiting confirmation regarding this piece of data. It now appears that a batch of magma is actually intruding upwards beneath the Santorini volcano, causing the ground to rise at a fairly constant rate, which if it holds is rising at a rate of approximately 6 centimeters or 2.4 inches a year. With a presumed volume of magma on the move, recent eruptions, does this mean that the swarm is actually volcanic or that Santorini will soon produce its first explosive eruption since 1950? To both of these questions my answer is no, and no as context is key. It is true that ground deformation was only detected at a portion of the Santorini volcano, uplift centers centered at these approximate coordinates during the last 48 hours. However, the keyword is detected. Remember how in a previous video only 4 days ago I mentioned that I checked for signs of ground deformation and found none? Well, I was looking for signs of rapid ground deformation on the initial incorrect assumption that the swarm was overall magmatic in origin, looking only through short-term datasets. These datasets can have a lot of noise, especially if large bodies of water are nearby, so when I did not see decimeters of uplift in a multi-week time span, I assumed that there was none. However, in hindsight, now looking at longer-term datasets that span all the way back to the beginning of June 2024, I can detect a very weak long-term uplift of 6 centimeters a year. While this is not confirmed yet, an existing model has been recently provided by this scientific paper, and based on the earthquakes since June of last year confined to within Santorini's caldera, it seems to fit the current intrusion as well. Santorini has 2 primary magma chambers, one at 15 to 9 kilometers depth which is larger in volume and a shallower smaller one which is at 6.5 magma intrusion.